In this lecture, I will show you how simple it is to implement a deep clone if required by your applications. To do that, go to the clone method. Instead of returning what we get from this super.clone, we will take out that return statement, assign this statement, hit Ctrl 1 or just assign it. This is a game instance. Game is equal to the cloned game instance. Now return game. But before the game goes back, we are going to say game.set membership, a new membership object. So this is where we are assigning a new membership for every game. Now this becomes a deep clone. Rerun the test to see the results. Double click to maximize. See, now the membership objects are two different objects instead of being the same objects. This code can also go into the constructor. Instead of doing it using the clone method, we can have a copy constructor. Many languages support the concept of copy constructor by default. To have a copy constructor, simply create a game constructor. This guy will take a game object, game, and it will assign the values for the current instance being created from this game object. This .id is equal to game.id. So it is copying over everything from what we pass in instead of using the clone method. This dot name is equal to game.name, and the last one, this dot membership is equal to, instead of copying over the reference, we will say new membership, just like what we have done up top here. Only thing, we are copying over from another object. The super.clone does the exact same thing for these regular fields, but for the object type fields, you create a new instance so that they don't point to the same reference variable. That is the concept of deep copy. This is the second way of doing a deep copy using a constructor. Now go back here. Let me add a default constructor so that we don't have issues creating objects. Now go back to the test. I'm going to create a new instance, game3 is equal to, instead of using the clone method, I will say new game, but use an existing instance from which we can copy over. Sysout game3. Save it. Run the test again. Double click maximize. See that? We have three different objects which have similar properties, and also if you look at the objects which these objects have internally, they all point to different memory locations. This is deep cloning. We have achieved it through overriding the clone method and also using the copy constructor. So you need not always use the clone method. This is the second way to implement a prototype pattern and to create clones or object copies using copy constructors. Copy an object while creating a new object.